few weeks back, I was contacted by Gunprimer, I believe, which is a company that started in Korea. I'm guessing from the looks of the kanji. Don't yell at me. I don't speak anything but English poorly. And they wanted to know if I'd test out some of their tools. Ironically enough, I had already checked out, but we'll get to that a little bit later, shall we? First off, you have the GateRemover, which is the little black piece that says riser on it. This is actually made out of tempered glass, interestingly enough. This removes, obviously, gates, and it won't do any damage to your plastic. So it says in the brochure and the promotional material. So far, I haven't run into any of those issues. The presentation is fairly nice. What I love about these companies out in Asia that make Gunpla related stuff, they always put it in some of the most beautiful boxes. Honestly, it looks more like a wedding invitation when you open it. Think, make, and enjoy together. The new slogan, new product, riser, tempered glass file series from Gunprimer. And then you open up the instructions and you're greeted with Korean. So yeah, a little bit confusing, but thank God for pictures. They help a lot. Unfortunately, I went by the instructions because I didn't think to try and look for the website yet again to find videos on how to accurately use these correctly. These little blue jean denim-like pieces right here that feel like leg patches for your pants are actually the recoverer, I believe, or the recover tool. What I'm holding right here is the tempered glass gate remover. And this stick piece right here is the balancer. It's actually pretty cool. It's a lot like a buffing tool for nail filing. I already have one because when you order from them, if you order the rework magazine #1, you get the balancer for free. So it's actually kind of cool. I would say this is actually something I might use later. I'll have to do some further testing on things I paint with high gloss finishes to see just how much this can do to help me out. The box is so nice, I was wondering if something came below it, and the answer is actually no. It's just that well compact, and that weird little split makes you think something's there, but it's not. And as I said before, I originally ordered the rework book before they even contacted me personally, oddly enough. What a coincidence. And this thing is actually pretty cool. It's a lot like many of the Gunpla books that teach you techniques and skills for painting. And I will say that the presentation is phenomenal as far as looks go. Aesthetically pleasing, it's a lot more like a magazine than a tutorial book on how to paint Gunpla. The beauty of it, though, is it has these very nice high-res photos that give you a good idea of the painting scheme that was used. And it shows off custom model making techniques. Now, the further you get into this, you will see tons of customized builds in here. And they're just inspiring, honestly. The only real problem I could say I have with it is it doesn't really walk you through the techniques of modifying these kits that well. Actually, I mean, when you compare it to something like the Gundam Pro Factory magazines, it does pale in comparison. Though it does have explanations, and on top of that, it is in English and Korean, so you can use this and get an understanding of what's going on. But my issue with it was that there wasn't enough step-by-step stuff. It was enough for someone who is well-versed in Gunpla modeling and customizing that they would get the gist of it with so little to go on. But for someone new to it, the lack of complete step-by-step will get to you, I personally think. You know, just my opinion. It's not newbie-friendly enough. Next up, I was also sent the joint guard set. Now, the thing about the joint guard reinforcement tape is to fix loose joints, which happens a lot with most older Gunpla simply because they use the poly caps. This is where this kit really shines. So I'd say, you know, old master grades, old high grades. I think modern high grades may still use poly caps. Not so much the real grades though. Here's the issue I had with the joint guard. Funnily enough, the instructions, if I recall correctly, said that it was best to put these on your Gunpla and then wait 24 hours before fiddling with it. That is the best way to go about it. I didn't realize that until after I messed with it for a bit. Now, I'm going to say that this product I can't really... Oh, bloody hell. This product I can't say is as good as the last one. It didn't seem to work well enough for me. The promotional stuff shows that it's very strong, and I believe it does enough of a job to make it so that your Gunpla don't get saggy, loose parts, but it's not as strong as it would lead you to believe. It's an upgrade or a good change, but not so drastically one that your life would be revolutionized by this product. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but on the other side of the spectrum, website shows that the joint guard glue set was supposed to come with super control glue as well. Maybe that would change things, because the issue I kept running into was that my joints would actually pull the joint guard sticker set, whatever you call these things, off of the Gunpla's joints. And that is probably the biggest issue here. It's not super horrible, but it's enough that it would be annoying to fiddle with over and over again. I even waited after 24 hours to try again to see what the outcome would be with the Gunpla leg guard thingy. The legs were definitely a little stronger, but not by much. I mean, for the usual posability that I would go for to have something like this on display, it does more than enough. It does what I need it to. But for a more dynamic pose or holding up something heavy, I'm not quite sure that this stuff will do what I want it to. But then again, I've only seen this marketed on a high-grade Barbados, so I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. I'm using this on a master grade, so do with it what you will, honestly. Now for the riser parts. I will say that it does everything that it's supposed to. I feel that this is probably intended for people who don't do heavy modification to their Gunpla. You know, someone who does just a straight sort of build on plastic and whatnot. And if that's the case, this seems to really shine in those senses. It buffs out the plastic very beautifully too as well. I don't know. Well, but after fiddling with it, I thought to myself, this is actually a very, very nice high gloss finish, which is strange to me. For me, I was like, oh, that's cool. It would be a real pain in the ass to try and paint, but it's cool. Please forgive the poor camera work. This is one of the downfalls of filming everything alone. You can't see everything you're doing at all times. It's a real pain in the sack. But here's the finished piece after going through everything with the riser and whatnot. You can still see the seam line, which is weird to me. I think this is just supposed to get like little nub marks off. It's not meant to completely remove a seam. So it would probably be best used in conjunction with your normal sanding tools. And that's where the recovery little squares come in. It seems like they do the job of cleaning up areas the same way cheesecloth would, but without the whole sort of stickiness, in my opinion, which unfortunately I didn't show in this video. I do apologize. Overall, I'd say the riser definitely works, does what it's supposed to. The joint guard, I'm on the fence about. I can't quite get it to work correctly. Maybe it's something I'm doing, maybe it's the design. And the G rework project book is cool. It does teach you a few techniques, but I feel that it's not newbie friendly. There are a lot of gaps in the information or in the work process that would definitely be needed for someone who is new to the hobby looking to customize their kits. But for someone who knows exactly what they're doing, you could probably look through this, give it a read, and you would firmly get a grasp of what to do and where to go off of the limited step-by-step instruction. At this point, I'm going to compare everything to Gundam Pro Factory. Actually, it's not bad. It's a book that has useful information, really. The thing is being able to understand how to implement it. That's what would get you.